Well, welcome to the first edition of the World T20 proper group stages of Bowl Fast Talk Straight. England versus the West India. From champs to chumps, that's the title. And it actually was. That was it. West Indies were a shambles. England were brilliant. Let's look back at all the action. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Well, John, wow, quite happily say I told you so.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, Cricket Collective last week, this West Indies side go back to the older brigade. But I think on these services, a lot of people are saying brute force. Not actually sure that it's going to be. And I think England were professional. They were fantastic and they were ruthless. And that's what I enjoyed about this England team. I thought Morgan captained this team well. Moeen Ali took a catch and then bowled absolutely brilliant. The West Indies never really recovered.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not often you're 37 for 4 at one stage and you're still 99% certain to win a game of cricket. It was cricket could be a very, very complicated sport, can't it? But it can also be really easy. And today was really, really easy. Started off poorly for the West Indies. They lost a wicket in the second over, and it just snowballed, didn't it? You know, our old mate Jared, he calls them throwaway games. And yeah, I mean, look, England, every single thing they tried for Eoin Morgan, it paid off, didn't it? He threw Moeen Ali the ball, he took 2 wickets in and bowled straight through and had a made wicket for England for 4 years. He took 2 wickets. Chris Jordan did what Chris Jordan does, very accurate, and took a wicket. And then finally, you're like, oh, I completely forgot Adil Rashid is in this side. He gets thrown the ball, and he takes 3 wickets in his first 8 balls, nearly gets a hat-trick, and then, of course, comes back to Whittle, take the last one as well. So a perfect day for England. But the question is, can they do it again? Because
well, I think we've just lost John there for a second. I'm sure he'll come back. But the question he's asking is, can England do it again? I think they can. I think this is a great message to the rest of the tournament, the teams in the tournament, that I think India are favourites, in my opinion, in this sort of surface. I think India are the actual favourites. But when John asked the questions, can they do it again? I've got no doubt that England can do it again. I just think they've set a marker down to the rest of their teams in this tournament that, we start as in the way the means to go on, and anybody that comes in front of us, we believe we can beat you, and we can beat you well, because a lot of people from the cricketing world tipped the West Indies to get to the semi-finals or potentially go on and win it. And when I look at that performance, that abject performance, it was a typical West Indies, but I thought it was a fantastic performance by Eoin Morgan. So give this guy some credit, because talking about dropping himself, talking about his place being in jeopardy. Well, you talk about all-rounders. Well, Eoin Morgan is England, one of the best England's all-rounders, because he's a fantastic batsman, but he's a better leader, and his leadership qualities today were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, we got a question in from Rohit Patak. Sorry about the internet issues at this end. We got it. This is live YouTube, by the way. Big fan, Steve. I guess with Moeen, England is the most balanced team. How do you see the Windies progressing? So really 2 questions in there. First off, Moeen Ali did not play once for England in the T20s earlier this year in India. Now he looks like he's the all-rounder that's going to be the glue, really, after Ben Stokes has missed out. I mean, completely different cricketers, obviously offering very different styles. But yeah, I mean, he just suddenly makes this England side fit. Although I'm not sure I'm going to see him bowl 4 overs at the top of the order against any other side but the West Indies.
No, I don't see that happening. But I think you've got to also give credit to Moeen. You talk about, he retired from Test match cricket to concentrate on the white ball game. He, for me, is the most underrated performer that England's had over the last 20 years, in my opinion. I think he's been a brilliant service to English cricket. He's had a good day, yes. Yeah, he took a good catch, then he bowled fantastically well. And when he didn't play in India, you know, talking about question marks because of the balance of sides or anything like that, I also think that sometimes, you know, players need a break. Players need to be taken out of the spotlight just to sort of mentally refresh than anything else. And when you come to a big tournament, it's like getting a good racehorse ready for the big derby or the national or, you know, one of the big races, and you get them ready, and your preparation going into that, sometimes it's questionable from a management point of view. You get questioned, why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing that? He should be playing. He shouldn't be playing. Well, sometimes you're just getting the racehorse ready for the big race. This is the big tournament. And maybe that's what England have done with Mo and Ali. And I thought he bowled excellent. I think he is England's go-to man, trump card. And when you've got somebody like Mo, who is a big confidence player, confidence man, when you start well, then all of a sudden it's very, very difficult to sort of get him off that good run. And the opposition need to be aware and watch out. And this could affect England's, the way he performed with the bat earlier in the warm-up, in the IPL with the bat. You know, this performance could potentially just change the balance of the England side.
Yeah, big call that. And I like that. You know, we've often seen teams, West Indies actually, a case in point, they never played together. And then it comes to the big events and suddenly all the big guns are back. Could it be that the same can be said for Moeen Ali? You know, he's come off the back of a good IPL. He's a champion. He feels confident, and he plays so much better alongside Adil Rashid as well. That's another thing I don't think we should forget. So, yeah, great points. Now, West Indies. Rohit asks, how do you see West Indies progressing? Now, Rohit, if you've been watching Bowl Fast Talk Straight, and thanks for getting your question in, by the way, get them in today. We will be doing shows off the back of all the England and India matches. You'll know that Steve has written off their chances of even progressing to the semi-finals. No chance, despite the fact that they've got 4 of the best T20 cricketers that the game's ever conjured up. Why is it that you were so confident that they would struggle, and they may still do well, by the way? And did you see anything today that makes you think you're wrong in your assessment of how poor the West Indies are going to be?
I've seen 2 young players who I quite like the look of, in young Hossain and McCoy. I thought he bowled beautifully. Left-arm spinner, held his, 2 for 24 off his 4. A bit like Mo and Ali, bowled all the way through from the start of the game, held his length back, made it very difficult to get out to. You had to either use your feet and commit fully to it if you weren't quite there, like Liam Livingstone wasn't. Who was the other one? Got caught and bowled. Johnny Bairstow wasn't. You know, hesitant, hands out in front, searching for the ball. I thought he bowled nicely. I thought the senior players, the big stars, you know, the 4 top 20 cricketers around the world, as you said, champions, they look miles away. And it's like, and I've said this for many years, working on Talk Sport, on the breakfast show, we talk about England footballers. Yeah, great England footballers, fantastic players, play for Manchester United, play for Manchester City, play for Chelsea. They're different players when they play with different players when they play with players in their own back garden, i.e., when they're playing, you know, when they're not playing with other global superstars. All of a sudden, Dwayne Bravo, fantastic performer for CSK. But he's got Jadeja, he's got Dhoni, he's got top players. Pollard, great finisher. But he's coming in at number 6 off the back of, Quentin de Kock, Ishak Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav. It's a different game when you're playing and your other players on your side aren't as quality as what you are. So for me, the West Indies will go and score 200 in the next game. I can guarantee it, or one of the next games, because that's what the West Indies do. But they'll also get bowled out for 80 or 90 in the games after. I don't see them playing more than 5 games in this tournament. And I wrote them off before the tournament, and nothing I've seen today makes me think, you know what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Sorry, West Indies fans.
One thing I will say, though, this is a tough group, you know, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Australia and South Africa all in it. And teams will drop points, you know. I could see the other group being much more straightforward. I don't think England will go unbeaten. I don't think any team in this group will go through unbeaten. So a defeat at the start, I don't think is terminal to their chances. But already, and this is the beauty of the T20 World Cup, that match against South Africa, who lost themselves today against Australia in a completely different type of encounter. No wins from the first two. Suddenly you're already checking out. We've had some questions in. We've had quite a few questions about the India-Pakistan game. No real surprise. We're all looking forward to that. And we will be doing a show on Monday following that. But Austin says, happy birthday, legend. Actually, he beat me to it. Happy birthday, Harmy.
Thank you very much.
My question is, where do you rate Virat Kohli amongst the all-time greats of the game? Now, do you think he's the best ODI batsman ever? And what battle are you watching out for tomorrow? Now, I'm going to just trim that slightly. Let's move. Do you think he is the best ODI batsman ever? Because we're talking T20 cricket here.
Yeah.
So how do you rate Kohli as a T20 batsman? And what is your battle to look out for tomorrow? Because can't wait for that.
I think he is one of the best T20 batsmen in the world. I think he is ever. I think he is class. I think he's the best. I think he's one of the best batsmen in the modern generation. You look at times gone past when the old adage and the old saying went out in my day. He is up there with the likes of Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar, Jacques Kallis, Rahul Dravid. I've missed a couple out. Ricky Ponting, probably the best player I ever played with. Virat's very much in that category, if very high up in that category, by the way. And I think he is one of the best white ball of the new generation. What am I looking for tomorrow? Well, I'm looking for Afridi to turn up. If Afridi turns up and gets the white ball moving, then all of a sudden I think that's their chance. I really think Pakistan's chance lies with the first 6 overs. If you can knock Rohit Sharma over, if KL Rahul goes in first or Virat Kohli goes in first, and you can get 2 early wickets, 3 early wickets, I think that's Pakistan's chance. I think that for me would be the battle. It would be Afridi against the top 3 of India. If they get it right, but if India get away and get off to a great start, then I only see one winner, and that would be India. So for me, that battle there would be the big battle of the game. And if it comes first up and India bat first, Pakistan will be looking at their new ball parent to make early inroads, because if not, it could be a long afternoon.
Okay, so look, we will be producing a show, also producing a podcast on Monday in regard to the India-Pakistan game. So keep posted for that. We've had another couple of questions in. Herbert says, West Indies batsmen have no footwork. They are so 1D in their approach. I mean, they are one-dimensional, but that one-dimensional approach has seen them win 2 World T20s.
Yeah, seen win World T20s, but I don't think one-dimensional is going to work on these surfaces. I don't think just trying to belt every ball out of the park is going to work. We've seen that today. You mentioned before, I'll just pick you up, John, on what you mentioned before about England not going through this group unbeaten. You know what? I think they will. I think today's result, what the West Indies have given England today, has just put alarm bells to every single team in this group. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Australia, and South Africa. South Africa looked miles away. Bangladesh didn't qualify that well. Sri Lanka are still going through a transition. Australia didn't get over the line convincingly. I think other teams in this group will be looking at England and going, wow, they don't look in a bad place. So when it comes to the West Indies, just trying to hit it out of the park, it might work 2 out of the 5 games that they play. If that's 2, that's not enough to get them into the semi-finals.
Okay, well, look, it does appear like we have got a few internet gremlins at this side. We'll wrap things up here, but we will be back, as made mention, on Monday, looking back at India versus Pakistan. Get your questions in, tell your mates, like, subscribe, review, and Bowlfast Talk Straight will be the place to be following all the action. Every time India plays, every time England plays, and follow the semi-finals and final as well. But for now, Harmy, thank you very much. And for everybody watching, see you next time.